The rain hadn't let up for hours. Sheets of water slashed across the windshield as Claire gripped the steering wheel, eyes squinting, to follow the winding road that cut through the outskirts of the city. It was supposed to be a routine supply run, drop off blankets and food at a temporary foster home, and return to the rescue center before nightfall. But the storm had other plans. Water was rising fast, flooding streets and choking drainage ditches. Mud spilled over curbs, swirling into thick brown currents. As Claire turned onto a narrow back road lined with trees and low hills, her tires rolled through ankle-deep water. She had been doing animal rescue work for 5 years and had learned to trust her instincts. That's why she noticed it, the sharp, frantic sound of barking cutting through the rain like a siren. She rolled down her window. The bark came again, urgent, repeated, not panicked, but purposeful. Claire pulled over immediately. Her boots splashed into cold water as she stepped out. Within seconds, her socks were soaked through. She followed the sound down a short embankment toward a wide concrete drainage tunnel, half hidden behind overgrown brush. The opening was just large enough for a person to crawl through, and water was already rushing inside. There, just beneath the mouth of the tunnel, was a German shepherd. The dog was soaked to the bone, her fur plastered against her ribs, her body trembling from the cold. She was chained to a rusted metal bracket, embedded in the wall just a few feet inside. The rising water had already reached her paws. But what struck Claire most was that the dog wasn't trying to escape. She was barking loud and clear, directed at Claire, but her eyes kept darting backward, deeper into the tunnel. Claire knelt, her flashlight trembling in her grip, and shone the beam into the darkness. She gasped. Just beyond the reach of the light, 2 small forms huddled against the wall. Puppies, German shepherd mixes, barely a month old. The water was already up to their knees. They were shivering, frozen in place, eyes wide with fear. The mother barked again, not crying for help for herself, but calling for someone to save her children. Claire rushed to the bracket, fingers fumbling at the rusted lock. No key. The chain was wound tight around the dog's neck, leaving little room to maneuver. She yanked her utility knife from her jacket's emergency kit and began sawing through the thick nylon leash tethered to the chain. The dog stood perfectly still. "Hold on, girl," Claire whispered. "I've got you." The leash snapped free. Claire took a breath, dropped to her knees, and began crawling. The mother followed without hesitation, plunging into the icy current. The cold was immediate, brutal. Claire forced herself forward, the tunnel narrowing, the current pressing against her legs. The water was rising faster than expected. She reached the puppies just as one lost its footing and slipped beneath the surface. Claire plunged her arm into the freezing water, grabbed the pup by the scruff of its neck, and pulled it close. She scooped the second into her other arm. Behind her, the mother barked once more, as if urging her on. Claire turned and crawled back through the rising water, heart pounding, lungs burning. The tunnel had become a race against time. The current tugged at her knees, but she pushed forward inch by inch. When she finally emerged, gasping, drenched, all 3 dogs safe in her arms, she collapsed onto the wet ground. The mother lay beside her, pressing her soaked body against Claire's legs. The 2 puppies huddled close in the pouring rain. Surrounded by mud and storm water, Claire didn't feel like she had saved them. She felt like she had been chosen. The drive back to the rescue center was quiet, except for the rhythmic thumping of rain on the roof and the soft whimpering of the 2 pups nestled in a blanket beside Claire. The mother lay motionless in the back seat, curled protectively around them. Her breathing was shallow, her eyes, half closed, only flicked open to make sure her babies were still there. Claire had seen a lot of pain in her years of rescue, but this dog, this mother, was different. By the time they arrived, the sky had turned a deep slate gray. The storm had not relented. Claire and her colleagues moved quickly, wrapping the pups in warm towels, placing the mother on a heated mat. The vet on duty took one look and shook her head. "She's severely dehydrated, anemic from blood loss. That wound on her neck is from pulling against the chain for days." Claire nodded grimly. Her name is Stormy. The name felt right. This was a dog who had weathered more than just a physical storm. Stormy's body trembled constantly. Though food and water were placed near her, she refused to eat. She kept her eyes locked on her puppies. Only when they were fed warm goat's milk through a dropper did she relax slightly, allowing her head to lower. But she never left their side, not once. Even during treatment, she growled if anyone moved the puppies more than a few feet away. She tolerated pain in silence, licking their tiny bodies, nuzzling them gently when they cried. Her own suffering didn't matter. The only thing that did was them. 2 days later, Stormy was strong enough to be bathed. Beneath the grime and matted fur, her ribs stood out like cage bars. A back leg showed signs of a healing fracture. Her belly bore stretch marks from recent birth. 4, maybe 5 pups, the vet said quietly. Only these 2 survived. That night, Claire sat beside Stormy's pen, watching her nuzzle her puppies. The smaller one had developed a fever, growing weaker despite the medicine. He whimpered through the night, restless and burning up. Just before dawn, Claire returned with a fresh towel and stopped cold. Stormy was hovering over the little one, gently licking his face. Slow, deliberate, tender. The puppy quieted under her touch. Then Stormy looked up. Their eyes met. There was no panic, no anger, only an overwhelming silent plea. Please help him. Claire's knees gave out. She sank to the floor, one hand pressed to her mouth, tears slipping freely down her cheeks. She had seen mothers give up. She had seen people turn away. But this dog, abandoned, starving, left to die in a drainage pipe, had endured 4 days of rain and hunger just to protect what little she had left. And even now, on the brink of collapse, she was still fighting for them. "Storm," Claire whispered, voice cracking, "I swear to you, I will do everything I can." Stormy blinked slowly and lowered her head again, resting her muzzle against the puppy's side. She trusted her now, not because of food or warmth or medicine, but because Claire had seen what Stormy had shown no one else. A mother's heart that would not let go. Overnight, volunteer Logan looked up from his phone. "What is it, girl?" Stormy rushed to the door, leash in her mouth, pawing at it with a force he had never seen from her before. When he hesitated, she growled, not out of anger, but urgency. He opened the door. Stormy took off like a shot. She bolted into the night, her leash dragging behind her, soaked instantly by the downpour. Logan grabbed his jacket, jumped into his truck, and followed her. For almost 20 minutes, Stormy ran. She crossed intersections, doubled back down trails, cut through trees like she was chasing a scent the world could not see. Logan followed, headlights bouncing wildly. Then she stopped at the edge of the woods, at the base of a steep embankment. She barked. Not frantic, focused. Logan stepped out with a flashlight and scanned the area. Nothing. Then he saw it. A glint of metal beneath the undergrowth. A shattered taillight. A car, half submerged in runoff, nearly invisible. Inside, slumped against the window, was Claire. The paramedic said she had lost a dangerous amount of blood. Her core temperature had dropped rapidly. 10 more minutes, and she might not have made it. At the hospital, Claire was stabilized and admitted for observation. Stormy never left the hallway outside her room. She didn't eat. She didn't sleep. She curled herself into a tight circle beside the door, nose pointed toward the faint smell of the woman who had once saved her life. Nurses left bowls of food, but they remained untouched. When Claire finally woke, pale and sore but alive, the first thing she saw was a pair of soft, dark eyes staring at her through the doorway. Stormy's tail thumped once against the floor. It was not joy, it was a vow kept. Claire's recovery was slow but steady. The bruises faded, the cuts healed, the headaches lessened with time. But the emotional weight she had carried since that rainy night, the night Stormy found her, the night her life was given back to her by the same dog she had once pulled from rising flood waters, left a different kind of mark. There were dozens of offers from kind-hearted families eager to adopt Stormy and her 2 pups. Well-meaning strangers wrote in with stories of big backyards, quiet homes, children who would love the dogs endlessly. Some had tears in their letters. Some offered donations, but Claire declined them all. "These dogs are not just animals I rescued," she told the shelter board when they asked. "They are my family. They rescued me right back." Stormy and her pups, now named River and Rain, settled into Claire's life as if they had always belonged there. The once weary mother now slept sprawled across the living room rug. River became the brave one. Rain, the gentle shadow, always 2 steps behind his mother or Claire. Claire's home changed too. The space once filled only with rescue folders, food bags, and unanswered emails was now alive with playful barks, thudding paws, and soft snores by the fireplace. It felt warmer, fuller, whole. The community, still stirred by the story of Stormy's heroism, rallied around her. The Rescue Center redesigned its logo to feature Stormy, flanked by her pups, with a new motto beneath: "Born to protect, loved to heal." Stormy became more than a survivor. She became a symbol. Claire was invited to speak at local schools, and every time she brought Stormy with her. The children gathered around, wide-eyed, as Claire told the story, not just of the storm, but of resilience. She spoke not about tragedy, but about loyalty, not about loss, but about finding something deeper than blood, the love that chooses to stay. Stormy would sit quietly beside her, tail curled, head up, as if she understood every word. The children would reach out, stroke her fur, and whisper things they might not say to anyone else. "She makes me feel safe," one little girl said after hugging her, "like she knows when someone's sad." And somehow she did. One evening, as summer tipped into fall, Claire sat beneath the porch awning, a book resting in her lap. The sun dipped low, casting warm gold across the garden where River and Rain chased each other between the trees. Their barks rose like laughter into the wind. Stormy lay beside her, head resting on Claire's barefoot, breathing slow and steady. Claire reached down, fingers brushing through her fur, soft and full now, free of the grime and blood it once held. The moment was still, complete. Claire closed her eyes and whispered, "You were chained to a storm, but you became someone's shelter." Stormy did not move, but her tail tapped the wood once, a quiet reply. That night, as they all curled together in the warmth of home, Claire knew something she had never truly believed until now. Family is not made by birth. It is made by choice, by sacrifice, and by the kind of love that stays when the storm comes and never leaves when it passes. Thank you for following the powerful journey of Stormy, from a mother chained in a flooding tunnel to a beloved guardian hero and heart of a family. Her story reminds us that love is not measured by blood, but by the loyalty we give and the sacrifices we make, and sometimes the ones who have lost everything are the very ones who teach us what it means to truly have it all. If this story moved you, there are many more like it waiting to be discovered. Subscribe to Amazing Paws Stories for more heartfelt true tales of animal rescue, hope, and the extraordinary bonds that transform lives. Because sometimes the ones we save are the ones who end up saving us. If this tale moved you, if you felt the tension, the heartbreak, and the triumph, please support our channel by hitting the like button and subscribing. Your support means the world to us and helps us bring more thrilling, emotional, and inspiring stories your way. Leave a comment below and let us know what you think. Do you believe dogs have an extraordinary sixth sense? Share your thoughts and personal stories with us. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.